Today we are going to talk about social identity theory. What does the social identity theory means? From the name of the theory, that means that we are going to talk about the personality of the individual related to a special group. This is what we mean by social identity. Social identity theory explains that we can define ourselves, or we can explain ourselves, and define what we are. Maybe it can be related to nationality, or to be related to a special group, or to be contributed in a special group, or to be fans of a special team, in sport, or for example, band, music band team, and so on. Social identity, that means we can categorize people in a social category. For example, for example, the families, okay, and how this family um, behavior is about, or their perceptions, and so on. So let's read what's the meaning of social identity theory, as shown in this slide. First, social identity theory explains that we can define ourselves by the social categories that we feel we belong to, such as nationalities, gender roles, families, and even as niche, as a group of fans of a certain sports team. Uh, Number two, social identity includes membership of social groups and the perceptions and behaviors associated with those groups. Thirdly, social identity refers to the ways that people's self concepts are based on their membership in social groups. So, we conclude from that social identity equals social categories. Okay? For example, those who are Egyptians, their nationality is Egyptian, so their identity, their personalities, their beliefs, their behaviors, their traditions, all this is perceived according to what they belong to, the country they belong to. For example, social category, nationality British. So we understand from that the characteristics of these people who belongs to British nationality. Okay, gender roles, female or male. Okay, so there is identity for female, identity, the characteristics of female, the male, so the characteristics related to male, and so on. Families, rich families, for example, medium families, another level of families, or families with conservative families, open-minded families, high educated families, low educated, and so on. And even as niche, as a group of fans of a certain sports. Niche means here a specialized, or we are specialized. For example, that the people who are fans of الأهلي team, or الزمالك team in football, and so on. So social identity means which group, or which social group we belong to, or we are membership of this group, and accordingly the behavior and the understanding of beliefs, and other issues related to this group will be characteristics of this group. Also, social identity refers to the way that people's self-concept are based. So the concept, or the understanding, or these people, we will know them according to what? According to the base to which member or to which group they are belonging to. Um, Here we are going to mention two terms, which is the in-group term and out-group. What we mean by that? We will read all the slide and then we will explain each point. Social identity is a person's sense of who they are based on their group memberships. This is known as in-group, which is us, and out-group, them. That means that we differentiate between two groups. The group that we belong to is in group. I am belonging to my family, so this is in group. In group. My friend is belonging to another family, so this is out group. Okay, so in group we say us. Other group we mention them by the term them, by the word them. Secondly, the central hypothesis of social identity theory is that group members of an in-group will seek to find negative aspects of an out-group, thus enhancing their self-image. The social identity theory is proposing or assuming that the in-group, which is us, will always try to find negatives of the other groups, which is them, in order to show themselves in a positive image. Social identity theory is built on three key cognitive components: social categorization, social identification, and social comparison. So there are three keys related, or we can build on it the social identity theory. These are cognitive components, which are social categorization, which category I belong to, which family I belong to, which group I belong to, which is in group, okay, or which group which I do not belong to and them belong to it, which is the out group. Okay, so this is the first cognitive component, which is social categorization. Secondly, social identification, which is the characteristics of the in group or the out group. And finally, the third cognitive component, which is the social comparison, that we will compare between the in group and the out group, us and them. So these are the three components that we build on it: social identity theory, which is social categorization, social identification, and finally social comparison. Generally, individuals wish to maintain a positive social identity by maintaining their group's favorable social standing over that of relevant outgroups. That means that always the people in group are always trying to make a positive image or positive self-image of their groups than the other groups, or which is we call them out groups or them. Who created or who is the founder of social identity theory? The founder of social identity theory is Henry Tashfel and John Turner in the 70s and 80s, where they introduced the concept or the term social identity theory, or the the idea of social identity theory, or how or what does it mean, as a way in which we explain the behavior of the intergroup, or the behavior of us, or the behavior of what the individual belongs to, which group, like family, or like nationality, or gender, or for an example, as a fan of a special sport